Hey, this is Abe.
And this is Alexa.
Welcome back to the Get Out and Enjoy Life podcast, or GOEL.
Today we're talking about our travel to Milan and what we are doing here.
So we were, in the previous podcast, we talked about how we were in Sirmione. And the way we got out of Sirmione to Milan was we caught a ferry. This ferry was moving quick.
It was really quick.
It got us across the lake to the other side in about 10 minutes.
Yep.
And we were looking at actually some of the ferries or boats when we were on the dock, and a lot of them actually had hydrofoils.
It was really cool. It was like the boat got lifted up out of the water.
Yeah, so we caught the ferry, and then we got to the dock.
And they were having a market there where you couldn't literally cross the street anywhere. It was difficult.
We had to cut through the vendors, which
yeah.
I accidentally hit one of their mannequins. It wasn't good. It didn't fall over, thank goodness. But they weren't happy. But I mean,
there was no way to get through.
It was car to car to car, just lined up all their
tight.
cars with all the vendors. And then we decided to walk to the train station because we walked from the train station to the ferry coming.
But I will say that it was all downhill coming from the train station down to the ferry dock.
Yeah, and honestly, that was in the back of my mind when we were walking to the ferry the first time. I'm like, this is all downhill, but that's a future Abe problem, future Abe and Alexa problem, and it was.
Oh man, it was hard. It was hot. We had to pull up our suitcases and our backpacks, and we had to go a mile uphill.
Yeah, we ended up doing it, and we kept seeing. Alexa said she kept seeing buses going by,
and I got so upset every time a bus would go by because I was like, Abe, was there a bus from the ferry up to the train station?
And I'm like, it's a good workout. Don't worry about it. And we were sweat pits for real.
Listen, I understand the good workout. We have worked out every single day of this trip. We're not talking 1 mile, 2 miles. We're walking 8 to 10 plus miles a day.
Right. I got a Fitbit before we started the trip. I had Whoop prior for about 3 years, and it just died on me, the Whoop. Unfortunately, like a day or two before our trip. So I ended up getting a Fitbit, and actually the Fitbit's been pretty good.
Yeah.
This isn't sponsored by any means, but the Fitbit, it's been giving me updates on the amount of calories and miles that we've been burning and walking. And the last update I got, which is for about 6 days worth, said we walked about 56 miles. And I was burning about 3,000-ish calories a day, which Alexa and I mean, we're doing all the same things. So
yeah, and even because I'm not a Fitbit girl, but I'm an Apple Watch girl, and I keep getting notifications that say you've reached a new new amount of walking, or it's your walking has changed over the last week.
Yeah, my iPhone has been telling me that as well. It just everything tracks you all the time.
Yeah. So
we got to the train station. When we got there, we were trying to ask the information desk, but there is a little bit of a line. And what we've been using for trying to figure out our transport is Apple Maps.
Yeah. Just
because we have iPhone, you could probably use Google Maps as well. But with Apple Maps, you just put in your destination like most people know, and you click transit or whichever mode you want to go through. With the transit, it then will tell you the trains in the area and what you should do, or the trams.
So that's been really helpful.
Yeah, and it gives you all the times too, which is really nice.
Yeah.
And it even gives you the number of the train that you're supposed to catch, which honestly, this has been a lifesaver.
Yeah.
So we're a little bit in a rush. We decided actually just to catch the high-speed train.
Yeah. I'm kind of at a point where I'm interested in convenience, and so I was kind of let's take the high-speed train instead of switching off in Verona and trying to figure out what train comes next. It was just much easier to go right to the central Milan station.
Yeah, and it wasn't too much. It was really only I think
27 euros per person.
27 euros a person. And then when we got on this train, it actually had luggage storage this time.
Which was great, because the first high-speed train we took did not.
No. We had to lift our 50-pound suitcases above our heads into the overhead compartment. Thank goodness they fit.
Yeah.
So this high-speed train, I mean, we got there relatively quickly. And when we got off, the station here in Milan is huge.
It's really big, yeah.
It looks like something from almost like the Roman times, honestly. It's
it's just huge. It looks different than everything around it. And yeah, you have to go up multiple different levels to even get out of the station.
And also just kind of paint the picture. It's it looks like it's all built out of some type of stone. It's I would guess probably at least 500 feet tall in the middle. It's really high. I'm guessing here. You could look up the specs online, and it's got these sculptures everywhere on the sides of it. It's got
tons of stores inside. There's people everywhere. I mean, we've been going to these small towns in comparison to Rome or Milan. And so it's kind of like a shock to the system again to see all these different people and just these monumental structures. Yeah, and really it was kind of a relief in some regards as well, because it's been hard to get some things that we want. Find things that we need.
Right. Even just grocery stores in general. So we ended up walking. Well, I wanted to walk to our hotel, which was about a mile away.
Okay, but a mile was also 23 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's the hottest point of the day that we're arriving.
That's true.
And every time we've gone to a new city, we have walked around at the hottest point of the day, and it has not been good. So, anyways, I wanted to take an Uber.
And I really wanted to walk.
I really wanted to walk. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm putting my foot down. This is what we're doing. You can walk if you want to.
I'm not going to just walk by myself. No way.
I was like, I think this is the best option. So anyways, Abe was having trouble connecting with the Uber.
Well, I got an Uber, and then they canceled on me. But they refunded me, thank goodness.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I ended up getting one. It was about maybe 10, 15 minutes or something ride. And it was so worth it to me.
Yeah, it was worth it. We got there. I was a little upset because I didn't get my way.
Yeah.
Which I think men are that for some reason.
I think it was a better choice.
Yeah. It was a good choice.
Because think about it. We're lugging 50 pounds of luggage on top of our backpack. I mean, it's not easy.
Yeah.
And we didn't really know if they have a lot of cobblestone streets.
Which they actually don't.
They actually
which ended up finding out.
Don't where we're at.
Yeah.
That we've seen.
So we got to the hotel. They stored our luggage for us, and then we kind of just chilled
for an hour or
so. We also ended up putting our podcast up on Spotify.
Yes, so now we're on Spotify.
So if you want to listen on Spotify, it's up there for you as well, and there's a link to it on our Instagram account.
Yep, the link's in the bio.
So once we got kind of reset and everything, we made the mistake again. We were like, well, we want to go out and see, what's here. Just because, getting in a new city, you don't want to just sit in your hotel room. And our hotel room wasn't ready yet either.
Yeah, that's been the thing. We've always arrived to each place early. And so it's some of the places we've been to don't really even have a lobby. This was one of the few that had a lobby area where we could sit for a while. But we still had another hour or so to go before we could even get into the room. So we were like, let's go out. And what's really different from Rome, because that's the only other major city we've been to, is Rome feels very walkable.
It does.
And there's a lot to see just in a short amount of time. And there's also big monuments to see. Mm-hmm. But here in Milan is very different. It's just, I even noticed it feels like there's some other cultural influences here, even just how the streets and everything are laid out. It almost looks like it has Parisian influence, boulevards and things like that. But the blocks are so long, and there isn't a lot to see right now. A lot of things are closed.
We didn't know that originally. We had walked in and then come back and asked the receptionist at our hotel And she had said that a lot of things are closed right now because Italians are on like a 2-week vacation right now.
Yeah.
We had read about that, but we didn't know exactly when it was and to what extent it would be.
Yeah.
But it looks like the whole city is like sleeping almost.
Yeah, there's things open here and there, and maybe we're just in a part that there's a lot of things closed, but pretty much every store around us has like a garage. They have like a garage type like door that goes over the entrance, and all of them are shut and like graffitied, and so everything just looks like
they almost look like the doors on like if you've ever used a public storage locker, like those roll down doors.
So they're all closed up and
so we got out and walked and we were like, well, there's we're hungry, we want to try a new experience. We actually ended up passing some type of sushi Asian type of restaurant and that tempted us just because to try something different other than eating the pasta and pizza, but we just settled on going and walking to Italy, which was about a 40-something minute walk away.
Yeah, and we thought we could do it.
We did do it. It was a struggle.
And they also have Italy in different parts. Like, they have it in New York, and they have it in Las Vegas. They have it here in Italy. And it's basically... what it is in Vegas is kind of different than what it is here.
I thought it was pretty similar.
I mean, here it has a few restaurants, but it's mostly a grocery store.
Yeah.
And then the one in Las Vegas is like all food, like all restaurants, and it basically looks like different Italian little shops where you can get pizza and pasta and wine.
And then Vegas as well, I remember, Vegas is about being showy.
Yeah.
In Vegas, you can see like people rolling out making the pasta, basically putting it through the pasta cutter. I don't know what that's called specifically, but and then here we went to this Italy that we went to. It was big. It was about like 3 stories, I think, and it was interesting how it was laid out. Like you walk through like it was like an actual store, the entrance.
Yeah.
And then it was like kind of had gates and stuff, and then when it had escalators going up and stuff, but on the entrance side, on the 3 stories, they had restaurants on every single level. Yeah.
They even had a wine tasting section.
Right.
Like on an opposite
and
side.
then on the back side of the store, they sold all of their merchandise and food and things.
They had one section that had cookbooks and cooking tools, and then they had one section that had just wine.
Yeah. And that was the top level. So
yeah.
We made it up there and we were looking at the restaurant there, and it was a
Michelin star restaurant. Which we've passed a lot of Michelin star restaurants just throughout our trip in Italy.
This is the first one that I actually looked at the menu on, and it was expensive. Oh my gosh. It was
like 60, 70 euros per
dish.
Meal. Dish. But we decided not to go there. We went to like the mid-level tier.
It was literally like on the second level.
Yeah.
It was good.
It was very good.
We ended up getting salads. I got like I forget exactly what I got. I think I
got like a shrimp salad.
That's right, yeah.
And I got like a quinoa grain type salad.
I think it was like bulgur or something like that. But it was really good. Then we were like, well, we got to make it back to the hotel. It's about 4:00. And it was hot out. It was like probably in the upper 90s, 98 degree range.
Yes.
And so you were like, well, I don't want to walk.
No.
And we were like, well, we don't want to really catch an Uber.
Yeah, the Ubers are not cheap necessarily, but sometimes it comes in handy to do it,
Yeah, and there's public transit.
Yeah, they have the metro here.
Apple Maps, it hasn't failed me yet until up to now, and I was like, Alexa, it hasn't failed ever. We were doing some research, and it told us to catch this trolley system.
But before you say that, honestly, I don't think it was Apple Maps' fault.
It wasn't.
I think there was a detour situation where this specific tram that we took wasn't going in the usual areas it was.
Yeah, so looking at the transit and everything, we did a little research while we were sitting in Italy. We ended up getting some coffee, and actually to backtrack a little bit, we got this, it's called, what's the name of that coffee restaurant? It's Lava... Lavazza. Oh my gosh. It is amazing. They had some amazing desserts there.
Yeah. And they actually have Lavazza coffee in the United States too.
Yeah. I ended up getting this, like, it was almost like a coffee cake. It had like a hard outer shell. And then inside it was almost like a cream.
Was it hazelnut?
No, I think, the inside was hazelnut. The outer shell was like coffee flavored. Yeah. And what did you get?
I got like a rum cake, which was amazing. It had berries on the top, and then it was almost like a cream below, and then it had the rum cake, and it was just really good.
It tasted like rum, but it wasn't overpowering.
No, it wasn't.
No.
Yeah.
So, doing a little research on the trolley system and just the transport system, there's an app called ATM, which I don't know what that stands for, but basically it breaks up all of the transit systems into regions, and then you just buy a general ticket for that region, which is like €2.20 or something. So we walked over to the trolley, and I've never ridden the trolleys in San Francisco, but this is what I would imagine it would be like.
Yeah. It was old. There's windows open, luckily, on the cart because it's super hot outside. And
almost like bus windows, like as a kid,
kinda.
like the slide up and down windows.
Like the yellow school bus.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got on. It's all like wooden inside.
Wooden seats,
and it moves slowly.
Oh, man.
Compared to everything else we've taken.
Yeah. You can hear the wheels grinding on the railway.
Yeah.
Like, just kind of moving, not really grinding. And yeah, so we rode that, and we're like, I'm watching on the Apple Maps, and it's going off.
Yeah, Abe's like, it's going the wrong way. And I'm like, oh no. And so we're like, keep paying attention. I'm like, maybe it's just like a detour thing, because they have signs up there, like in the trolley above us. But we can't read it.
No.
It's not in English at all. And then the driver of the tram keeps like yelling back to the people in it. And
Every time someone got on, he would go and say something to them.
And I was like, I have no idea. And I think he asked a question to the group at one point, and I was like, I just didn't say anything because I have no idea.
Yeah, I can't understand Italian, which unfortunately.
Yes.
And then we were like, okay, it's kind of going back out to the correct way we need to go. And then we get to a stop,
and these 3 ATM officers hop on, and they just go towards every single angle of the tram, and they check everyone's tickets.
They checked ours
But it was
away.
kind of crazy. It was just like they just rushed on all of a sudden, and they're like, tickets, or whatever they said. And so we showed them.
There's like 3 guys, though, that...
One guy, I think, got a ticket.
Yeah, but one of them, like 3 of them, like... You could see people there. They just pressed the button and
they were
to
trying
stop
to get
tram.
off as soon as they saw those officers standing out there. I guess they just get off on random stops and get on random trams.
But there's like a group of guys. I think they got away because
they got off.
Yeah,
nobody talked to them.
No, yeah, they were like,
and
we didn't see them pay or anything when they got on.
Yeah.
And they just walked off in the opposite direction. Officers
they just left. The officers did come. One officer did come right to us to check our tickets right away.
And we had them, thankfully.
Yeah, and you always have to validate things here, too. That's like something to know. Like, you can't just buy the ticket. Even for the train, like, you have to get a little stamp on it, basically, or a little hole punch on it, so that they know that, I guess, you paid for the ticket. I don't know what that's
I think
for.
what it is specifically for this ticket, it had a timeout time on it. So once you validate it, this ticket is only good for 4 hours. So you could hop on and off the trolley.
Yeah.
But after that, so he actually looked at the timer that was, because we bought them digitally. And so there was a timer on the phone on the ticket that was counting down.
Okay.
So, or it was only good for 90 minutes actually. But regardless.
Yeah.
So, we were circling. The trolley started circling back to actually where it picked us up, and we're like,
no, this is the wrong way.
So we hopped off right then and there,
stop,
and ended up having to walk back about 30 minutes. Unfortunately, the trolley did not save us that much time. It said trolley of 1870 something on the side of it. It looked like it might need a little TLC, but maybe it was just a bad experience for us at that time, but.
Yeah, we probably don't know how the whole system works.
Oh, we definitely don't, yeah.
So, but anyways, it was a rough walk back, let me tell you. I was having a really hard time. And I had a little bit of a breakdown at one point and just like sat down and almost started crying because the heat it just takes over. Like well, for me personally, it's just been really hard to just be dripping sweat for like
You're
30
like, I'm breathing
minutes.
sweat.
Yeah, I'm like, the sweat is going into my nose and my mouth. I was like, God. Oh my God. It was really rough. And Abe's like, come on, we're almost there.
We're like, 0.3 of a mile away.
It just felt like we kind of had an opposite experience.
Yeah.
Like, because Abe kind of had a situation when we were in Rome, and then I had the situation here.
I kept thinking, I'm like, well, we got to get out of the heat. Come on.
Yeah,
let's not sit here. We ended up
hard.
stopping at a store and getting some cold waters.
Yes. It was like a
which were actually like
store.
canned water, which is cool. They're
But
really big about recycling here.
They also barely had any cold drinks.
They didn't, no.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
So we took the canned
Everything has
water.
been closed, like we talked about.
Yes,
Yeah. And
so it's hard to find places to stop in because as we were walking, I was like, let's go to the Tabaki, which is like the little corner store, but it was closed.
it's been kind of eerie feeling too, just because there's no, like, we're on a like huge block walking down it and there's no one on it. There's no, I mean, there are like maybe
No.
2 people on the other side of the street.
Barely
but
anybody.
You're not seeing a lot of people for this big city.
No.
So, and again, that comes back to it being vacation for the Italian people. So, we did make it back to the hotel, and then we just basically crashed there for the rest of the day. And chilled.
We did go out to a grocery store to get some food and just ate in our hotel
Which
room.
is the first like large grocery store, 24-hour grocery store that we've found.
Yeah, we haven't seen those.
Yeah, just because of small towns I think that we've been in, and they've been really touristy towns.
Yeah.
We ended up getting like some pre-made salads. I got like a salmon cheese sandwich.
I got like a tuna sandwich.
Yeah, they were amazing.
It was actually really good. It kind of was like a little bit of a relief to have that kind of food because it felt like we were kind of at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not have to, like, we had talked about, like, eating out has been, I love eating out, but
yeah, I do too.
When you're eating out, like, at least once a day,
I mean,
it's
usually a couple times a day.
Like, yeah.
And we're at like what day, I don't even know, 20 or something like that. And it's just a lot to eat out every day.
You're always waiting. You were saying, waiting on the server.
Yeah, I had kind of had a point where I was just like, can we just like take something to go and just eat in the hotel room? Because we have to go to the place, then we have to wait. We first have to order a drink, then we have to wait for them to come back to order our food, and then we have to order all the food that we want. Otherwise, because they're not going to come back and check on us.
And they
during
don't.
The time we're there.
We notice that they don't really like us saying all of like everything that we want to order in one swoop.
Yeah.
They like we tried to order.
We're usually ordering a meal for ourselves,
right?
Plus like maybe an appetizer.
Maybe, yeah.
But sometimes they're like, oh, do you want it now? Do you want it all together? Like, they're kind of, like, confused about it. But it just worked out for us because they don't come back and check on us and say, how are you doing? What do you need?
At Italy, actually, I tried to order, like, everything in one swoop, and they're like, no, just drinks.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah.
Okay. So, yeah.
So, yeah.
But that was our first, like, our transition day in Milan. Mm-hmm. The following episode, we'll talk about how we went to the largest shopping outlet mall in Europe.
Yeah.
Which was Alexa's.
One of my highlights of the trip.
Yeah. So thank you again for joining us on Get Out and Enjoy Life podcast, or GOEL.
And we hope that you get to get out and enjoy life in your own way, whether that's walking around your neighborhood, hanging out with some friends, traveling, whatever it means to you.
Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye.